thank you for coming along to have a chat with me for the podcast. I really appreciate it. And I feel quite excited about our chat today because I think that there's a few subjects that you and I naturally connect on. And I think compassion is one of them. And I think creativity is another. And so I'd really like to talk to you about those two things today, really, and just hear what you think about when you hear the words compassion and creativity and how you relate to and understand those terms for yourself. Mm-hmm. So for anybody that's listening, I'd like to introduce Charlotte as a makeup artist, a vegan makeup artist. And Charlotte and I met a couple of years ago when she did my makeup for a good friend of mine's wedding. And I remember at that time just feeling so at ease in your company. And I really enjoyed the session that we had together that day. And then after that, I just kind of knew in my heart that I would never want to use another makeup artist. And so I've kind of called on you for your makeup artistry since then when I've done projects with the band and stuff, and hope to continue using your makeup artistry services.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, no, it's fine. I admire your work and your passion for it. And I'd love to know how you got started with makeup artistry. What was it that inspired you to want to work in that field?
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to say that I was always into creative, artistic things. I've always been drawn to visual, beautiful stuff, in whatever way you can define that, really. And I guess my mum, being a young girl, was a big influence me getting into makeup, to first see how it can transform someone, but just the act of putting it on, of having like that time with yourself as well, to get yourself ready for something, no matter what that is. Spending that time, I don't see it as a mask of like sort of trying to distort or change your looks, although you can use it if you're feeling a bit insecure about skin or something, but how it makes you just feel like you're fully put together in a way sometimes. So I think so without going off on that tangent, it started probably with my mum and seeing how glamorous she was with all of that, and it really inspired me as a kid to sort of try her makeup and think, I'll put a bit of this on. And then my mum and dad both used to buy these glossy magazines, Vogue, Cosmopolitan and stuff, and I used to look at the models in there back in the 90s with all the models, which was like Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, and all of those models, and I would draw on their faces and add stuff on them as a kid. I was just fascinated by that, and I think that artistry then always stuck with me and then made me think I'd love to do that one day. I never thought I would, but I thought, that's something I'd love to do. It's a passion, and it was just embedded in me then, and it just stuck with me forever. And then wasn't until I was coming towards 30, I was like 28, 29, and I was like, I'm gonna do a course, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna bite the bullet and do it. So I didn't pick it up till later in life, really.
It sounds like it's been a childhood passion, and it was something that as an adult you decided to just go for it, which is fantastic. And I love that it's been with you for such a long time, that desire to want to just just beautify is the word that comes to my mind, and just highlight that natural beauty.
Yeah. It gave me a great sense of confidence when I was young as well, because I struggled with really bad acne and poor skin, and I still have the scarring now. And I went on my own little journey with skin as well, so it's sort of layered up with that too. Because my acne was severe. I had to go to see a dermatologist, get on medication and stuff to try and calm it down. So for me, covering that up with something was a godsend to me. So I was like, oh, I can look like I've got clear skin with a bit of foundation, bit of Body Shop. I used to use Body Shop in a compact, and it was the amazing product for me. I was like, oh, this is brilliant. I can have this lovely clear skin. But so it's layered with that as well. Just using it as a way to boost my confidence, but over the years realizing that I love the artistry with it as well. The things you can create, the colors, bringing someone's confidence up to say you can look like this. And media as well, you look in the magazines and everyone looks airbrushed and lovely and beautiful, but it's altered. And I think some women feel that that's really far apart from what they are or they can achieve, or who they are at home is this glossy, magazine that look absolutely stunning and beautiful. But there's lots that's gone into that to create that final image. So
it kind of strikes me as each face is a canvas, and then you create the art on top of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is that. Yeah, it really is. It is when you're doing it as a job and someone sits in your chair and you see the beautiful bone structure, how you always sort of see the beauty, whether it's the eyes, the lips, something will stand out and you just sort of want to accentuate that. And yeah, it's amazing because everyone's so unique in their features and everyone's got different, face shape, and it's so varied and interesting because of that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're working with a completely blank canvas. You're working with a piece of nature. And then I guess your role as the artist is to bring out or enhance the beauty that's already there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I do believe we're all beautiful naturally, and I don't, think it's something we need to hide, but it is more of like an enhancement. Whether it be that in the week people might have not had time for exercise or got any sunlight, and so you're sort of bringing that back to someone's face if they haven't, where you can make them look like they've been on holiday for a week, which is naturally how they would look when they've been on holiday for a week. Is the skin's looking more flushed, more hydrated, maybe they've been outside more, and they've got that sun-kissed look. So it's kind of like in winter, whatever, here in the UK, we can kind of create that same dewy look or whatever people want. So it's not always that far apart from when you're doing like a natural look. It isn't always that far apart really from, our natural selves when we might have had a really good week, hydrated, exercised, I don't know.
Yeah. I know that when I wear makeup, I feel like I'm my best self. So I don't wear makeup every day, and I'm happy with the way I look without makeup. Yeah. But I know that when I do wear makeup, it just brings this natural fire out in me where I feel ready. I just feel ready, and I feel like I'm at my best when I've got makeup on and it looks good. Yeah. So I kind of understand where you're coming from in just like accentuating and enhancing what would naturally be there if people were just living their best lives anyway and going out and drinking water and exercising every day and looking amazing. Like makeup can just help to bring that out.
Yeah, definitely. And like when you said as well that it brings out fire, it's like going back in years and years ago, people would wear makeup and, bring out the red in their lips, bring out the dark in their eyes. It goes back to also nature, like when you're feeling passionate and aligned with your fiery, passionate self, your pupils dilate, so your eyes look darker. So, and your lips flush and the cheeks flush because you're sort of living in this like, high energy, when you feel like aligned. So it's kind of like bringing that blood flow to the face. It's a bit like that as well. So I think that ties in, like, yeah, it fascinates me because it goes back to like ancient Egyptian times when women were using coal on the eyes and then like, crushed, stones and things like that, which what they're still putting stuff now. Without it being in a little container in Boots or something, they were, making it in a pumice and grinding it down themselves and putting this colour on their face because it does give you that empowerment. There is something so empowering, and it's like our hair and our clothes, but it's just another level.
The look of love, like makeup, just enhances how you look in love. I like that.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, you're like carefree, the blood's flowing.
Yeah.
It is. That's a really good line. That's a really good line to use. Like, yeah, I'll have to use that somewhere.
Yeah, feel free. So I kind of want to explore more about how being vegan kind of ties into the work that you do, because you advertise yourself as a vegan makeup artist, and I'm guessing that compassion comes a lot into that as well. Just from my personal experience of exploring veganism and plant-based eating, I understand for myself that I feel a lot better knowing that animals aren't being harmed for my benefit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that potentially ties into how I feel about how I look as well, because I feel happier and healthier within myself, and I feel able to express myself completely because I kind of know that I'm not being powered by pain, powered by death, if you like.
Yeah, I know.
So I feel like that kind of helps in like how I look and how I feel about myself. And so I wonder from your perspective and the work you do, like how did you get into becoming vegan and exploring that for yourself?
Yeah, so I've always been, well, I was veggie from about the age of 8 or 9, and I didn't like eating meat as a child or fish. So I went veggie really young, and my family were all big meat eaters, but I was that odd one out where I didn't like it. But I used to eat tons of dairy, and I don't know if that contributed to getting, more colds and respiratory or my skin. So yeah, I used to eat dairy, cheese, milk, egg every day because it was kind of my staple. And then, yeah, I was reading more about the ethics of vegans and why they're doing what they're doing. And I always thought, oh, it's too extreme and it's going to be too restrictive for me. I wouldn't be able to follow it. So that's kind of what my view was at first. And I'd speak to some vegans at like health food stores or at like sort of like go to like a bit of a day, like a day where you go to like a holistic sort of events where it'd be like all to do with holistic healing and stuff like that. And I'd speak to some vegans there, and I just started picking up on it. And then someone recommended me to watch some documentaries, and I watched one years ago called Earthlings, and it was really powerful for me. I watched it on my birthday, like probably 6 years ago, and it really hit home for me that the dairy industry is just as harmful, it's sometimes if not more, than the meat and the fish industries. So I didn't turn vegan though after that point, but it really planted a seed in my head as I'd love to strive towards this. This is what I feel, like you say, is aligned with me. It's what I care about. And it moved me so much, and it really just touched my heart, because I think I am quite compassionate for animals, and I feel, that it's not right what we do to them and how it's done. And it really, really tapped in to this core part of me, which made me feel like I don't want to contribute to their suffering. And I didn't realise how much they were suffering, I think. So yeah, it was quite a powerful documentary, and that kind of, from that point, it kind of built from there. And then, yeah, I had a trip to Bali, and I ate so much vegan food there that it kind of made me think, this is easy, I can do this. So like from that point, I then just said, I made it almost like a promise to myself, right, that's it, I'm just going to go vegan now. And yeah, it feels like it happened overnight, but it didn't, because it was always going on subconsciously, I think, for me. And then, I just haven't looked back, and it was so much easier, I think, than I thought it would be. And I felt like what you said is that I feel like it's truly who I am, and you feel your conscience almost lifting. I'm not contributing to this industry, which is pretty corrupt and awful. And I started to think clearer. I just felt more in line with how I feel in my heart. And for that reason, I was like, why did I do this before? But and I've just not looked back since. I just realised how easy it was, how accessible it is now to be vegan, probably more than it was like 10 years ago or something. And then just from that point, I felt so empowered by it as well. I was like, I can make the choice as a consumer to consume food I feel ethical, and I'm not going to be sort of brainwashed by the food industries into consuming things that are so unethical, unhealthy, and then also happen to be highest CO2 impact on our planet as well. So yeah, it was all those things together. I was like, this is incredible. Like, for me, that just ticked all the boxes.
Amazing. I think I went on a similar journey to you, in that I played around with being vegetarian for a while first, and then felt that being vegan would be too hard, and had a few failed attempts at it. And I just got to a point where I just know I can't go back. I think once you see something for yourself and you understand it for yourself, it's hard to come back from that. And I think some of the things that I've seen you share, and a few other friends that are vegan have shared videos and just information about the industries, the dairy industry and meat and fish industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've just seen enough for myself to know now that I no longer want to contribute to those industries. And I think also, like you said it so beautifully when you talked about your freedom as a consumer to choose what you invest in, and how we don't have to feel pressured or manipulated into eating the diets that we grew up eating because that's what we've always done. Like, as individuals, we have that choice to say, well, actually, I feel free to choose what I spend my money on and what I invest in and what I put inside my own body. Like, I have the freedom to choose that for myself. And I think once I saw that, that was when I kind of knew that there was a way for me to eat the diet that I wanted to eat. And I mean, you're right, there is so much choice. Like, I found a vegan online supermarket this morning, and I was like trawling through all the links, and I was just like, I never have to go back to eating dairy and meat. Like, there's no reason for me to ever need to go back to it.
Is it called Vegan Supermarket or something?
Yeah,
or
I think it's Vegan Kind Supermarket.
That's
I think it is.
Yeah.
So I found it this morning and I was like, this is amazing. So good.
Brilliant. Yeah, there's loads on there. Yeah, there's a few different sites like that which are delivered to your home, and they'll deliver it in a box and stuff. But like you say, if you have favourite things that are like a meaty flavour, or you really like scrambled egg or something, which is something I used to eat as a kid, like all the time. You can make, scrambled tofu with all that same flavourings and seasonings, but it's an ethical version which gives you that flavour that you sort of miss and crave, and that bit of that texture. I know it's never going to be as chewy as meat, like certain foods are never going to have that real dense thing that meat has, but they're doing a pretty good job at replicating so much now.
I think so. Have you tried this range?
Yeah.
So their vegan bacon is amazing. I've tried that recently. It's so good. And I ordered some of I think it's the wheat gluten this morning to make the seitan, because I saw a recipe for brisket using that's supposed to be really good, like a brisket alternative.
Ooh.
So I think there's so much creativity in vegan cookery, I think. Like, it's definitely brought out my passion for cooking and baking again, trying new ingredients.
Yeah, definitely. I can totally agree with you on that, because when I started this sort of vegan living, I never used to put as much effort into cooking and baking. I didn't used to really think about it. I used to grab like a cheese sandwich from Morrison's and not even think, So I totally get that. I think it is brilliant for creativity. It's brilliant as well to show people, look, you can have this and you don't have to, you can do this more ethically. You can, less impact on the planet. And I don't know if you've seen What the Health. Have you seen What the Health? That's a brilliant documentary about the health impact of meat on our bodies, cardiovascular and all that, and some really insightful vegan doctors that talk about that. Say there's this really old vegan doctor he's like, must be in his mid 80s now. So he's from a generation gone by which veganism and being vegetarian was just, you were a bit of an oddball if you were a veggie. It's like people didn't really get it. Like, why are you doing that? But he talks really, really well about the health impact on meat as well, on the system, on the body. So that's another thing as well. If you're into, I'm going off on another tangent about it now, but I feel like it's so multifaceted. There's so many different benefits. So I think we don't realize like the meat impact on our bodies. And if you're into your essential oils like you are, and your health in that way, I think it can really impact your emotional health as well as your physical, because it's almost like it just clears something, and it's almost undescribable in a way. I think what it might do for your like psyche, your soul journey. I think it goes beyond just the face value. So I believe in that as well, like our spiritual journey and doing less harm and things like that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I know for myself, I've noticed that when I'm eating a vegan diet, I feel clear.
Yeah.
My body, my mind, my emotions feel clearer. Everything just feels a lot clearer and cleaner. So I can definitely relate to it from that perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that it's definitely given me like more of a connection to animals. Like a soulful connection to animals, in knowing that animals are safe with me.
Yeah.
And they're kind of free to be themselves and not have to worry about me being like predatory
The
towards
predator.
them. Yeah.
I know. I've done that a few times, joking, like when we've been walking in the countryside or something and looked over the little sheeps and they run away, and I was like, don't run away, sheep, I'm not going to eat you.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. Like, your wool looks really cozy, but I'm not. I keep it. Yeah. So yeah, that is a really nice thing, like to feel like more aligned with them and like you're doing less harm. And I mean, plant-based living goes back, in history as well, and it's kind of like what food was accessible to us when you look at like evolution and stuff like that. So it's like, we can thrive and get all our protein from plants and stuff like that. And meat does take longer for the body to break down, to digest. It puts more strain on our digestive system and on our heart. So that's why they link like cardiovascular disease to red meat. And there's certain compounds in red meat as well that when it breaks down in our bodies, it's actually a carcinogen. So it's toxic to us.
Right.
And you can look into all the science of it as well. So it's even so interesting. It's like a minefield.
Yeah, it is interesting. And I think at the moment my interest is in the animals, but I can see how there's so much to learn around environmental impacts, health impacts as well. So it feels like a learning curve, a learning journey as much as anything else, really.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
It's just, it's the beginning of a fantastic like thing. And
I think so. It feels like it. And I've got to a place within myself where I realise that I can't go back now. I've passed the point of seeing enough to know that I can't go back. And so I feel excited about just learning more and seeing more about it. And the kind of the exploring and the creative side of it, trying new things, trying new ingredients, new recipes. Yeah, it's great.
There's so much of that. Yeah, it is a big exploration. It's so interesting and it is creative as well, and you can think for yourself more. You feel like I'm gonna create this, and it's evolving now because chefs and restaurants and things like that, they're wanting to find better ways of creating food that people love, but with less impact on everything else that we've been talking about. And it's just getting better and better, I think. It's snowballing in a really lovely way. So, I'm excited for the future to see how it's going to develop. I think I've seen it develop so much in the past 10 years, like 5 to 10 years, that it seems like it's just, it feels like it's more at the forefront of what our future is going to be like. So if you need resources or information, or do watch the documentaries or anything, let me know. But it can be a journey as well of realization over a few years. And now, like you say, you wouldn't, you don't look back. And I think you do get to that point where you take it in and then you think something's like a penny drops and you think, oh, this just feels really like me now. And no one needs to force me into it. It's just kind of, you can make an informed decision when you've done that research. So it's like we were going back to the empowered consumer making your own decisions. So
it's definitely a journey of learning and understanding, and then from that informed position making a choice about what feels right for you as an individual. And I think we've spoke about creativity today, and I think that element of creativity in it is about finding ways of doing things that are different to what you might be used to. And I think that in essence is creativity. It's recognizing that there's an issue or there's something that you want to change or something that you want to create, and then finding the ways to do it. And I'd love to know, because you come across to me as a creative person, and it's one of the things that I really love about you is just the way that you express yourself creatively. And I really enjoy following your makeup artistry page and the different looks that you create on there, and
oh, thank you.
Just the playfulness of it as well. I think that comes across, that you just like playing with different looks and trying different things out. And
yeah,
I kind of wonder what creativity is to you and how you understand it and how you relate to it, and what inspires your creative expression in makeup artistry or any other areas of your life.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really interesting question. Do you know what? I feel like I know innately, but I don't, I've never sat and thought what inspires me to create. I think it just sort of comes up as I want to do this. Something sparks my interest with, whether it be, I often find like where I've been or what I'm doing will spark me an idea into them wanting to create a look or mix colours together, or whether it's a film or you've been to like travel, you might even see like a tropical bird or something, and you'll think on a documentary, you think, oh, those colours are beautiful, I want to put that somewhere, whether it be face paint or body paint or whatever. Yeah, so I quite like the chameleon kind of thing of I quite like playing with different identities as well, like being like, oh, today I might want to do this, or I might want to do that, or I quite like the ebb and flow of, we don't have to just be how we are today. Maybe I feel like I want to be a bit more this or that, or so it kind of, I think it's more than face value. I think it comes from somewhere within where you feel like a playfulness to try being something else for that moment, in a way. A bit like theatre or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like playing with different parts of our personality and allowing the expression of different characteristics of ourselves, whether that's today I'm feeling more sensitive and feminine, or today I'm feeling a bit more masculine, or today I'm feeling a bit more fiery and passionate, or today I'm feeling a bit cool and calm, and then expressing the looks that you within yourself associate with those parts of your personality. Like that's how it comes across, and it feels very playful and very creative and just an expression of self, I think, without restrictions, without limits, without thinking that you have to feed into the idea of who you should be presenting yourself as. Yeah. It's like there's a freedom to just play with all elements of yourself without kind of worrying about how it comes across. And
definitely.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that. I definitely love that. I love artists like in music that do that. Whether it's, they don't assign to a certain gender, or they might, shave all the hair off, or they might have really long hair, or they might do whatever they feel like doing. I love that expression and freedom, how it makes you feel. And so I think it's great to celebrate that. And I find like, like artists like, I don't know, like Bowie or whatever, just people that do what they want to do. And it does come with a lot of, you have to be quite courageous, obviously, like doing it on that level where it's putting it out to the world. But they feel they want to be feminine one day. They might be in a man's body, but they might want to dress like a woman, or they might want to look like a woman with the hair and the face, like Prince, or whatever. So I think I really admire people like that. And I think we are like such a myriad and like mix of different things sometimes that, yeah, if you sort of put yourself in a box, it can feel restrictive. So it's like, yeah, let's experiment with how we put ourselves across visually. And it might be that you do some crazy style or clothes, hair, makeup, and you might not go out, and it might just be for you, but you think, oh, I did that and I can be that person that day, and it's fun. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, and it also, it's endless, so it's boundless, and I love that. So you can do whatever you want with it, so I love that as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the beautiful parts of playing with style and just creatively expressing yourself through your looks that I am really excited about getting more into. So for a long time, I've focused more on what's practical in terms of like the clothes that I wear and the makeup that I wear. And recently, as I've started to find more of a connection with my natural creative expression, I feel quite excited about just playing like I did as a child. I don't know if you ever did this, but in like primary school, we used to have like a box of dress up clothes in the classroom, and occasionally we'd just get time to play, and you could just dress up as different characters and play out these different characters with your friends and stuff. It doesn't mean anything. Like at the end of that play session, you would take off whatever costume you were wearing and just go back to being who you were. But for that time, you could just play with that character. And I studied drama as well. I did a BTEC in performing arts. And so I think that...
Oh, yeah, you totally get it then.
That kind of, that kind of desire to just want to play is the essence of being creative. And I think that now that I've come to find like this natural sense of grounding in myself, I feel a lot freer in being able to play with different looks and different characters and stuff. And I get the sense that like you have that within you as well, just that freedom to play and experiment.
Yeah, I love drama at school. So it's great you did a BTEC in it. I think I can relate to loving drama and playing and acting a role, acting a character out, and then it draws out certain parts of you. But like your question, I love all of that as well. It does feel free. It does feel free because you're not constrained. And I think that our social constructs of who people are, or the labels that are put on us or whatever, we feel like this, like, oh, I feel like I've been put in a box and I'm not in a box, and I think that's one thing that creative outlets like drama and acting, singing, making art, and it is making art in whatever form, is just a beautiful way to think, well, I can be anything, and I can draw on those different sides of me. So it's cathartic, and it's quite therapeutic.
Definitely very fulfilling. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. Yeah, I've had such a lovely time. And,
me too.
Thank you so much for coming along and for joining me in the podcast. And I'd love to share links to your makeup artistry work for anyone who listens who would like to reach out and talk to you more about the makeup services that you offer.
Yeah, of course.
Just thanks for coming along and for having this chat with me. And
thanks for having me, Shaneen. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Absolutely enjoyed it. So thank you for having me. It's been fantastic.
It's been great. Thanks a lot. And have a lovely day.
You too.
Take amazing care of yourself. Yes, you too. Lots of love.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.